I don't like to brag and I don't like to boast, said Peter T. Hooper, but speaking of toast, and speaking of kitchens and ketchup and cake, and kettles and stoves and the stuff people bake, well, I don't like to brag, but I'm telling you, Lise, that speaking of cooks, I'm the best that there is. Why, only last Tuesday when Mother was out, I really cooked something worth talking about. You see, I was sitting here resting my legs, and I happened to pick up a couple of eggs, and I sort of got thinking it's sort of a shame that scrambled eggs always taste always the same. And that's because ever since goodness knows when, they've always been made from the eggs of a hen, just a plain common hen, what a dumb thing to use, with all of the other fine eggs you could choose. And so I decided that just for a change, I scrambled a new kind of egg on the range. Some fine fancy eggs that no other cook cooks.
like the eggs of next Salama cooks say they should be good. So I went out there and find some as quick as I could. And while I was logging them back to the house, I happened to notice a diesel truck cruise in a tree down the street, and I knew from her looks that the leg and the egg of the salama cooks out to mix might well, out to taste simply super. When scrambled together by Peter T. Hooper. So I took those eggs home and I fridged them up and I added some sugar, 2 thirds of a cup, and a small pinch of pepper, and also a pound of horseradish sauce that was sitting around, and also some nuts. Then I taste the stuff, and it tastes quite fine, but not quite fine enough to make the best scramble that's ever been made. Or cook has to cook the best eggs ever laid. So I drove to the country quite later for out. Uh, and I studied the words they were written about.
I looked with great care at a mop noodle Finch. I looked at a big barretti Grinch. And also I looked at a chef roasting quail who was roasting right on the Razorback's tail. And I looked at a Spritz and a Punner Wing Jay. But I just didn't stop. I kept right on my way. 'Cause they didn't have eggs they want laying that day. Then suddenly, boy, up that hit a short space burst, they were laying all over the place. Great happy Gates family with uncles and cousins, all laying fine strictly fresh eggs by the dozens. Why I'd have a scramble more super than super. Scrambled eggs, super the duper the booper specialty rocks are a Peter T. Hooper. I picked out the eggs in a most careful way. I only picked those that I knew were grade A. I only took eggs from the very best fowl, so I didn't take eggs from the Twiddler O's, because I knew that the eggs from those fellow who twiddle taste sort of like those from inside a best feeder.
I went for the kind that were mellow and sweet, and the worst sweetest eggs are the eggs of the quit, which is due to those very sweet trouts which they eat. And those trout were rather sweet because they only eat wogs, and wogs, after all, are the worst sweetest frogs. And the reason they're sweet is whenever they lunch, it's always the worst sweetest bees that they munch. And the reason no bees can be sweeter than these, they only eat blossoms of basil nut trees, and these basil nut blossoms are sweeter than sweet. And that's why I nabbed several eggs from the quit. But I passed up the eggs of a bird called a strudel, whose sort of a stork part we fall like a poodle. For they say that the eggs of this kind of a stork are gooey like glue and they stick to your fork. And the yolks of these eggs, I am told, taste like fleas, while the whites taste like very old bicycle grease.
The place is a hike to the road that I rumbled to find the best eggs that have ever been scrambled. I hunted new birds along wild tangled days, through gullies and gulches, down dingus and dales. I wiggled my way and I crawled at the creep, down through a forest of fern that was 40 miles deep, and I mushed through the brush till I found the fine quigger, whose eggs whose eggs are as big as a pinhead, no bigger. Then I went for the eggs of a long-legged quail. Now this quail, well, she built just a little bit wrong, for her legs are so terribly, terribly long that she has to lay eggs 20 feet in the air, and they drop with a plop to the ground from up there. So unless you can catch me before the egg crash, you haven't got eggs. You've got long-legger hash eggs. I'd collected 302, but I still needed more, and I suddenly knew that the job was too big for one fellow to do, and I telegraphed north to some friends near Fazol.
which is 10 miles or so just beyond the North Pole, and they all of them jumped in their catamaran, which is sort of a boat made of sea leopard's hide, which they sailed out to sea to go looking for grice, which is sort of a bird which lays eggs on the ice, which they grab with a tool which is known as a squitch, 'cause those eggs are too cold to be touched with a witch. And while they were sending those eggs, I got word of a bird that does something that almost unheard of. It's hard to believe, but this bird called a pelf lays eggs that are three times as big as herself. How the pelf ever learned such a difficult trick, I never found out, but I found out it quick, and I managed to get it down out of the nest and home to the kitchen along with the rest. But I didn't stop then, 'cause I knew of some ducks by the name of the single Weisumsian Zooks.
Who stole single file through the mountains of Junes, quite oddly enough, with their eggs on the domes. And some fellows in June who I happen to know just happened to capture a thousand of or so. And they lap up their eggs and they mail them by air. Market special delivery handled with care. I needed more helpers and software assistants. I called a fellow named Ellie long distance. And Ellie, as soon as he hung up the phone, picked up a small basket and started alone. To climb the steep cracks and the jacks of Mount Turku to fetch me the eggs of Turku cuckoo. Now these Mount Turku cuckoos are rather small, of course. But these Mount Turku cuckoo have lots of big parts. They dive from the skies with wide cackling shrieks, and they jab at his legs and they step at his cheeks with their yammering cackling, hammering beaks. But regularly he fought his way through, and he sent me that egg as I knew he would do. For my scrambled eggs, super specialty looks a lot Peter T. Hooper.
In the meanwhile, of course, I was keeping real busy collecting the eggs from three universities. They're quite hard to reach, so I rode to the top of a hamika, shinimika, shinamika, shina. Then I found a great flock of southwest-facing cranes, and I guess they've got something that's wrong with their brains. For those kind of crane, when she guarding her nest, we're always standing facing precisely southwest. So to get at those eggs wasn't hard in the least. I came from behind from precisely northeast, and I captured the eggs or prickly cactus, who lays them up high in a prickly cactus. Then I went for some jeeps. They are exactly like jobs, but the jeeps live on cliffs and the jobs live on bluffs. And seeing how bluffs are exactly like cliffs, it's mightily hard telling the jobs from the jeeps. But I know that the eggs that I got from the bluffs, if it wasn't a chips from the cliff, was a jobs.
Now I needed the egg of a mouse-watching nest, who's a bird who's so big she scares people to death. And this awful big bird, where the reason they name her the mouse-watching nest is cause that's how they tame her. She likes watching mouse sort of quiet her mind, and while she's watching, you sneak up behind, and you yank our egg, so I got one of course, with the help of some friends and a very fast horse. If you want to get eggs you can buy at a store, you have to do things never thought of before. Why, to get at the egg of one very small dove, we had to pry out of a mountain top off. Then I heard of some bird who lay eggs, if you please. They taste like the air in the horse of sweet cheese, and they live in big Zanzibar trees. So I ordered a tree for the Java means, but I needed those eggs and said hang the expense. I still needed one more and I saved it for last. The egg of the frightful bombastic August.
And that bird is so mean and that bird is so fast that I had to escape on the delicatessen. A fleet-footed beast can run like a deer, but looks sort of different. You steer him by ear, or through with the searching, or through with the looking. I had or I needed or now for or and now for the cooking. I rushed to the kitchen, the place where I stick them. I loaded my sled. I unpacked them and cracked them, and chucked them in 99 pans. Then I mixed in some beans. I used 55 cans. Then I mixed in some ginger, 9 prunes, and 3 pigs, and parsley, just 22 sprigs. Then I added 6 cinnamon sticks and the clove. And my scramble was ready to go on the stove. And you know how they taste? They taste just like, well, they taste exactly just like scrambled eggs, super duper special deluxe a la Peter T. Hooper.